Alright, the version 3.3 livestream just wrapped up, and oh boy, the banners for this patch are absolutely menacing. Like, we are getting the new characters which are Hyacine and Cipher, but for the rerun banners, we are getting the Herta and Aglaea. Bro, Hoya really want to scrape up every bit of J's from the players, man, so that they can make bank with the 3.4 banners with the freaking collab and fine on. The future is not looking good for F2Ps. So let me give you guys some advice on which characters might be good for your account. Hopefully this video will help you guys make better pulling decisions, as F2Ps and low spenders can't really get all the characters. So leave a like if you find this video helpful, and let's get started. Playing a game with awesome units coming out every patch is not easy. You always run out of currency to pull everyone, but that's where lootbar.gg comes in. It's the most popular top-up platform for games like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, and Zenless Zone Zero. It has tons of positive reviews and some big content creators using it as well. Not only that, you get incredible discounts for every item compared to the in-game prices, and it only requires your UID for the whole process. Just pick your item, paste your UID, select your region, and top up now. And there you have it. Within seconds, you get your Jades. It's fast, it's easy, and it's totally secure. And this also applies to PlayStation or Xbox users if you can place orders through Lootbar. So go check out lootbar.gg from the link in the description or in the pinned comment down below. So there are 4 characters, and pretty much every one of them have really high pull value. Let's start with the first one, Hyacine. Now, as I and countless other content creators have already made videos on how these characters work, let's get straight to the point. Why would you want to pull for Hyacine? The first and the most common reason is going to be that you have Sappheiros, and you want to build her best team. And sure, that's a valid point. Currently, the 2 best sustains that players are using with Sappheiros are Gallagher and Loacha. Both have their pros and cons. Some prefer Gallagher's high charge generation, which is also really inconsistent, especially in game modes like Pure Fiction, but when it works, it really freaking works. And then there are others who prefer Loacha's consistency, as his overall performance remains consistent no matter what kind of content you are playing him in. From my own calculations and thoughts from other testers, Gallagher in his preferred situation still generates more charge than Hyacine, but in his preferred situation, which you do not get that often. Also, Hyacine's charge generation is pretty close to Gallagher, and more so, Hyacine provides HP buffs, which is great for HP scaling DPS units like Sappheiros. Her heals are way more frequent than Gallagher, resulting in more consistent charge generation. She also has her Memo Sprite, which is basically another unit on the field, meaning more HP for Sappheiros to drain, and that means more charge. And finally, there is her personal damage, which is quite high. So overall, she is slightly behind in charge generation than Gallagher, but if you combine everything else, it's not even close. Hyacine is a solid upgrade. As for Loacha, the only thing that was going for him was his consistency, but Hyacine also has that with more charge, more healing, and more damage. So yeah, Loacha is also not even close. The second reason to pull for her is going to be for My Day. Hyacine also becomes the best sustain for My Day, with her consistent healing and HP increase, which is just better than Loacha or Gallagher, the 2 main sustains that are currently used in any My Day teams. The last reason you would want to pull for her is if you don't have any premium sustain in your account, and you want Hyacine to be that sustain, which is also a valid point. And that's all. But if your account does not fall into these 3 categories, then there is no reason for you to pull for Hyacine. Basically, any other team just does not benefit or not benefit enough from Hyacine to pull for a whole new unit. Follow-up attack teams prefer Aventurine and Lingsha. Here you can use Hyacine, especially with Tribi, as since Ika's constant attacks aren't considered follow-up attacks, she can't really benefit fully from Robin. But if you already have those other sustains, the damage increase is negligible. For break teams, do not even consider Hyacine. Lingsha and Gallagher are just better. For our newer DPSs like Anaxa and Aglaea, they just prefer Huo for the extra energy. And lastly, for Akron, Hyacine can be good if you have a Lycone, as that has a debuff. But if you have Aventurine with the 4-star debuff Lycone, he simply becomes better. So only pull for Hyacine if your reason is one of the 3 I mentioned. Of course, if you don't care about meta and you simply like Hyacine, then do whatever you want. Don't listen to my stupid advice. Next we have Cipher, the cat girl of Sappheiros, and she's actually more universal than Hyacine, but currently she is looking to be more of a side grade than a clear upgrade to any of the teams that we have now. So why would you want to pull for her? First, if you want to improve your Akron. If you still do not have her E2, that means you're using 2 Nihility units, one being Jiao Shou and the other can be Pella or Silverwolf and so on. First things first, for Akron specifically, Jiao Shou is still going to be the biggest upgrade for her damage, so don't think about replacing him. For the Pella slot, Cipher can be a clear upgrade. Her debuffs and damage taken are one thing, but she has massive damage potential, and currently in a E0 Akron team, we don't really have any other damage dealer besides Akron. Now though having Cipher is a clear upgrade, but as I said in my last video, for an Akron team, Cipher can be a bit hard hard to build. And also, Silverwolf is getting buffed in the next patch, and that can affect Cipher's overall value. Currently, if you want to pick her for Akron, that's completely fair, but it would also be a good option to wait for any solid info about what kind of buffs the older characters are getting. The second reason is going to be Fei Xiao. Here, I would say she's not as much of an upgrade as an Akron team. Fei Xiao is extremely single target, and Cipher's true damage hit can make her more viable in the current meta. But if you already have a well-built Topaz or March 7th or even Moza, though Cipher is clearly better, the difference is not that high. But then again, it's just my opinion. The basic point is that there is a difference in damage, and Cipher is a solid upgrade for Fei Xiao. Lastly, the third reason is if you simply want a more offensive Pella. As being one of the few 4 stars to be used even now, Pella is certainly a great unit, and Cipher is basically her with her damage amplification and debuffs, but she also has her personal damage, and that makes her a more valuable unit. Now these 3 reasons are not as concrete as like with Hyacine. As I said earlier, in most cases, Cipher is simply a side grade or just a slight upgrade to our current teams, and that upgrade, at least in my opinion, not enough to get a new unit. Right now we don't have any team where Cipher is a solid upgrade, like how Hyacine is for Castors. Cipher is just great in some teams and good enough in others. And as the quotes say, a friend to everyone is a friend to no one. So if your reason to pull for her is one of the 3 I mentioned, it's fine. But overall, I would suggest to wait for future information before making your final decision. By the way, if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing, as it does help the channel grow and motivates me to make more content for you guys. Now for the reruns, we have the Herta and Aglaea. I don't know why they got their reruns so quickly, as there are other units in the line, but whatever. Let's start with the Herta. For reasons to pull her, first, if you are a new player who doesn't have at least 2 recent 5-star damage dealers, and I repeat recent, the Herta is going to be the most valuable unit to pull for among these 4 banners. She's fairly easy to build, with her self buffs and buffs for the team, has F2B Lycon options, has good 4-star teammates, has one of the highest damage output in the game, and most importantly, her performance is consistent in all 3 endgame modes. In my opinion, for a new player, the Herta is one of the best units to start with. The second reason is for older players with well-built accounts, like me. As for us, we don't simply pull any DPS, we pull based on our roster of units, and if we can make a solid team with that new DPS. For the Herta, there are 2 team slots that you need to fill, a second DPS and a team-wide support. For the first one, if you have either Jade or Anaxa as sub DPSs, and for the second slot, if you have either Robin or Tribi as supports, then the Herta is a great unit to pick for a veteran. Now of course you can play Herta as a hyper carry instead on a dual DPS team, but at that point you can just pick any DPS. Right now a dual DPS team is a more optimal team for the Herta. Lastly, for the third reason, oh wait, there is no third reason. Anyways, if you fall into one of these 2 categories, the Herta is totally worth it for you. Lastly, we have Aglaea, and I would say she's pretty much the opposite of the Herta. She really wants some premium investment to work properly, like either Sunday or her E1. Personally, I do not recommend her to any new player, but generally, there are somewhat 2 reasons on why you would pull her. The first is simple. You have units like Sunday and Ho-Ho. At E0, Aglaea has major energy issues if you do not play Sunday with her. You can fix it if you get her E1, but that basically means you have to pull 2 copies of a unit, and that's a decision only you can make yourself. For the second reason, it's even more simple than the first one. If you like her design, well, I mean, look at her, she's gorgeous. And simply pulling who you like is a solid reason in any gacha game. So pull if you like her, but also prepare yourself to pull Sunday or her E1 if you want to have fun playing her. Overall, I can't really rank any of these units as they fall into completely different categories and cater to different types of players, but I have given clear explanations on what type of account and players would benefit from these units. If you fall into those types of players, then these banners are for you. If not, you can just save for the next patch, as 3.4 is going to be massive. And that's going to be it for this video. I usually upload my character guide on the day of the live stream, but something happened to my channel recently. If you guys were in my last stream, you would know. And because of that, I have to adjust how I make guides. But don't you worry, the to-the-point explanation and the overall quality of my guide will stay the same. I just need a few days. The Hyacine guide should come out early next week. All in all, like and sub if you enjoy my content. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.